Hey guys, my name is Dr. Ricky Keys and welcome to MyMemorial. One of the most important things that you could do to improve your financial health is to develop a budget. So what I'd like to do is to kind of tell you some of the important factors or the facets of budgeting. Before I do that, let's ask one of the most important questions. Why should I even develop a budget? I believe that there are 7 specific reasons you should develop a budget. Developing a budget will stop you overspending. In essence, if you live within the confines of a budget, you tend not to spend more money than you actually have. So you don't go into a deficit. The second reason is that it will help you reach your financial goals and objectives. The third is that it will help you to save money. Obviously, if you have a surplus as opposed to a deficit, you're more likely to have money that you could put into your savings as opposed to going into debt. The fourth reason is it will help you to eliminate or reduce the amount of worry that you have. Because you'll know if everything is on autopilot, then you won't have to worry about where the money is coming from or how much money you'll have or whether you'll have enough money to pay your expenses. The fifth thing is that it helps you to be a little bit more flexible. There are times when you may have the ability to pay more or less, or you may have a challenge or a situation. By having a budget, it will help you to be much more flexible. Budgeting puts you into control, and that's the sixth thing. You have the ability to control yourself, you control your future. So it will help you to, not have the worries and concerns. And by being in control, you don't have to worry about somebody else interfering with your financial situation. And then budgeting makes it simple. By having a budget, you know where everything is going, you know all that's coming in, you know all that's going out. So as a result, your entire financial life is much more simple. So that's why you should develop a budget. 3 important facts about budgeting. It's unfortunate, but only 1/3 of Americans actually maintain a budget. Obviously, a budget is very important, but only 1/3 or about 100 million people in the United States actually maintain a budget. Secondly, only 30% of Americans have a long-term budget that will allow them to invest in long-term planning, specifically insurance, savings, and investments. So it's really important if you like to move from anxiety to comfort, from comfort to freedom, you need to develop a budget. And finally, it seems as if there's a demarcation. People who make over $75,000 more likely to budget. People who make less than $75,000 a year, they are more likely not to be budgeting. When you develop a budget, you'd like to have specific goals. Typically, your goals are related to ensuring that you have the ability to meet your needs. But there are 5 specific budgeting goals that we typically identify. Number 1 is to get out of debt. Number 2 is to increase your cash flow. Number 3, it's to pay your bills comfortably. Number 4 is to establish an emergency fund. And number 5, it helps you to prepare for your retirement. Now, let's break down your budget into your income and your expenses. Your income is typically composed of all the money that comes in. That's in the form of salary, wages, tips, pension benefits, Social Security, and other forms of income. So in essence, all the money that you bring into your house, that comprises your income. What we're going to do with this is we're going to take your income and then we're going to identify all of your expenses. And then based on those 2 things, we're going to identify whether you're in a deficit or whether you're in a surplus. Your monthly expenses are typically composed of your mortgage or your rent, your utility bills. Typically, these are things like your cable bill, your cell phone bill, your electricity, your water, and all those other kinds of utilities. Your car payment, if you have a car. Insurance, really important. Whether you have home insurance, or car insurance, or personal insurance, be it term life or whole life policies to ensure that your family has longevity. Those are things that you need to calculate in terms of your monthly expenses. Your clothing, you may buy clothing on a monthly basis. So these are things that make up your expenses. Now, what we need to do, as I said earlier, is take the income and take the expenses and then calculate all the income, calculate all the expenses, and then determine whether you are in deficit or in surplus. If you're in deficit, obviously there are things that you need to do, either increase the amount of money that you're making, or if you're in deficit, you could reduce the amount of expenses that you have. So in essence, you need to learn to pay off some of those monthly bills so that you could be in surplus. Surplus is where you'd really like to be. Hey, thank you for listening to this video. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video. Until next time, we'll see you then.